Anyway, welcome. My name is Miles, and I'm from Recovery, and yeah, I think I've got like 1,200 videos right now. I'm impressed with that. And I'm so glad and so grateful to be helping people, and for people that are tuning in, it's just like thank you, thank you for coming here. I like it. I like the changes that were made. I like the community that we're building. I love the conversations that are happening in the field, and it just really brings joy to my life. But and the whole thing is just like like we're here to just to kind of rant and just talk about narcissism. And it's like, did you know like they're just like masters, like narcissists are masters of messing with our minds? It's almost like it's like they have a toolbox, and but instead inside the toolbox, instead of like hammers and screwdrivers, it's just filled with these narcissistic tactics that they have. It's like their go-to kit. They got all these tactics, all these manipulation tactics. It's like, what are we gonna do about it? Like, how do we protect ourselves? Because these narcissists, they're like, they're illusionists, and they use these tools, not just to entertain themselves, but to like just deflect, to deceive, to dominate, to control. It's just all these things. It's like the way they play these games. It's just and recognizing these narcissistic tactics. It just isn't helpful. It's more than helpful. It's almost like your armor. It's like your emotional armor that's going to protect you against these tactics just by knowing them, just by seeing them. It's like when you're when it's happening to you. It's just like you point it out, like right away. Yeah, and it's it's like almost having a cheat sheet. It's like like when we were cheating in school, we just kind of write things down. It's just like having this is almost like having this cheat sheet and just being written in a way that to play against these rules that narcissists play. That it's like they act like the rules that don't even apply to them because they can just change these rules so quickly and just at a whim, on a whim, just like that. They can just change the rules so they can just be somebody else. And for some reason, in their minds, it seems to work for them. But for the rest of us, it's just like it can drive us insane. And these narcissistic strategies, they're not just tricks that they use. They're like mechanisms, and it's designed to just silence their victims, to belittle people, to control them. And it's like, being in a play where you're given a script, but your lines keep getting changed just to suit the whims of this narcissistic director, and just establishing boundaries. It isn't just a suggestion. It's not just a suggestion when you're dealing with a narcissist. It's almost a necessity because protecting yourself from this relentless siege of narcissistic manipulation tactics, it's like we do have to be on our toes because like especially when we're dealing with like a malignant narcissist, it's like they're just magicians at smoke and mirrors and pyrotechnics and distractions and deceptions. It's baffling how they can work. But they use all of these diversionary tactics to just shift blame, to create confusion, to keep you off balance. And it's less about now you see it, now you don't kind of magic. It's like pulling something out of a hat. It's more like now you feel sane and now you don't, because that's what it's like on the other side of these games. Because the narcissist, their repertoire is just so fast. They use things like gaslighting, triangulation, and smear campaigns, and all of these tactics just to totally mess with our minds and ruin our lives. They really can ruin people's lives, right? It's like narcissists, they have this PhD in emotional manipulation. And you've probably already heard me call them, but like emotional terrorism. It's like they're using all of their education and all their tactics to run a master class on psychological warfare. Like that's what it ends up being. And our own brain becomes the battleground. And dealing with narcissists requires more than just patience. It requires strategy. Requires strategy. It requires some kind of cutting. It requires boundaries. It requires protecting ourselves in so many different ways. And it's about seeing through the facade and understanding the game and refusing to play by their twisted rules, the rules that keep changing anyway. Because recognizing these strategies to protecting ourselves is like the first step towards empowerment. And it's not about changing the narcissist because it's not. It's just like we can't change the narcissist. We have to kind of just they are who they are. It's not something that we can control. It's not a battle that we can win. But what it is about changing the way that we respond, the way you respond, and how we protect our space and protect our minds and protect our hearts. Because this is the battleground, mind and heart. It's so important to protect, and embracing just awareness and understanding of the tactics that they use. It's going to help you navigate through these turbulent waters without losing sight of true north. Because it's just like when we have true north, no matter what game is being played, it's just like we know what direction we need to go. Because the narcissist wants to keep us here at ground level so they can do all their magic and pyrotechnics. And it just doesn't work when we're trying to navigate like turbulent waters like this without losing sight of where we're going, and protect, our mental and emotional state. And some of us, it's even physical safety that we have to protect. Right. So remember, just in this journey, it's just not about just surviving. It's about learning. It's about growing. It's emerging stronger in the face of such just nasty, nasty manipulation. And your greatest weapon is your awareness, right? It's your ability to think through the whole chaos and through the entire mess. And just it's like, what is it? What is this knowledge? It ends up just kind of being like a light. And what happens to light? Like when you turn on the light in the darkness of manipulation, the light actually becomes, our ground, our ability to witness, our ability to see what, see the truth, see the truth, right? So let's talk about some of the tactics, that they use, and one of the most difficult tactics in terms of just maintaining our own sanity is just gaslighting, because this is like a narcissist's favorite little trick. It's like, they're like a Houdini of just of mental manipulation. It's like they make your memories and your perceptions just disappear. It's like, did I say that? You must be imagining things, right? They have this way of turning reality into just a game of Twister, and where you're always just left being, bending over backwards, and you're just trying to find the truth. And gaslighting is just kind of one of those things where it's like it's our own sanity that we end up struggling with, and they create that doubt, and they create all through all this manipulation, constantly just shifting the ground and changing the reality, rewriting history. Makes us wonder. It's just like, is that true? Is that true? And then it's like when that happens over long periods of time, it's just like, wow, like, I actually believe that for a second. I remember, like, there was an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation where Picard is just being tortured, and I don't know if there's three lights or four lights, but he was just like, they kept telling him there's four lights there, and there's only three. And it was just like, as he was being tortured, as he was being manipulated, at the end, it's just like he actually sees the number of lights that they told him to see. It's like how our brains can play these tricks on us. It's just incredible. And we can look back and we can say, wow, I like, after it's over and after we recover, it'd be like, wow, I can't believe I actually believe that, right? Starting to question our own reality. Another technique that they use is projection. Projection is interesting because with a narcissist, it's like projection is like watching a movie where the narcissist is both the villain and the critic at the same time. They're up there on the screen committing a crime, but somehow you're the one that's getting arrested. It's like, I'm not angry. You're the one who's angry. And they're saying it with anger. I'm not angry. Okay, well, you're yelling a little bit loud. I got a bit of spin in my eye. So maybe you need to tone that down a little bit, right? It's like living in this bizarre world where you're blamed for the plot that they wrote, right? This is what we end up finding is that narcissists, it's like you go into a room, you could be having a totally normal day. Like everything's just kind of going fine, but like 2, 3, 4 minutes talking to a narcissist, and suddenly you're feeling shame. You're like, whoa, why am I feeling shame? Or if the narcissist is feeling angry, all of a sudden it's like 2, 3 minutes into every conversation. Oh my God, I'm angry now too. It's like, whoa, they can't actually process their emotions. So what you end up finding is you're talking to a narcissist, and all of a sudden it's not even your feelings that you're feeling, right? To go through like the recovery process, it's like it's amazing how many emotions were just dumped onto us, and that we don't even have to process because they're not even ours, right? It helps with the recovery process like so much, so much. And the other thing is like blanket statements, and these are something to be careful of. It's like, you never loved me, right? A big giant blanket statement. Or, you always do this, or you never understand me. It's just like massive blanket statements. statements. And it's just like that is a tactic. A blanket statement is a tactic. And when they use it, it's just like throwing a giant wet blanket, all over your feelings and experiences and suffocating your very, perspective under the weight of just these massive generalizations that you can't completely dispel or completely defend either. And it's just like it's a very nasty, nasty tactic. Another thing that they do a lot is just diverting focus, right? And it's just like you can call it word salad, or you can call it. It's like you just have these circular conversations that just kind of go. But it's just like you start having a conversation about one thing, and then like 10 minutes later, all of a sudden you're debating, Nietzsche's final chapter of his book, and it's just like, how did we get here? We were talking about the dishes, and now it's just like, we're still debating, season 4, episode 5 of, Stranger Things. It's just like, why? Why? It's just they just change the subject, and suddenly we fall into that trap. And diverting focus is just their way of playing, it's just mental hide and seek, where the topic just keeps getting changed. And it's like, now we're talking about this. Now we're talking about this. Oh, we're done talking about that. Now I want to talk about this. They get so passionate about those things, and we lose our focus and we forget. And, as we start getting closer to the truth, it's just like they just change the subject and we're on to something else. And like, what were we just talking about? Like, why are we talking about what I did? When, your friend did something way worse than me. Right? It's like, it's a conversation that's also a wild goose chase all at the same time. And another thing that narcissists use is minimalization. That's a tough word, but it's just like they take things, they just make them minimalized, right? It's like, oh, I just pushed you a little bit. Oh yeah, you're just overreacting. It's just like, no, you pushed me hard. There's a bruise here. It's just like this kind of hurts. It's like, you're overreacting. Oh, okay, no, not overreacting at all. It's like they're trying to just, shrink wrap emotions. It's like, in the grocery store where they wrap meat, you just squeeze it all. It's like just kind of make it smaller, make it really, really small. And in their eyes, it's like your feelings are just like an inflatable pool toy, and they got pinned, and they just feel like popping something. Pop. That's it. That's what they want to do. But the whole reason I'm just kind of bringing up these tactics is just, for the greater good. It's good to just recognize these tactics. And because learning them, it just kind of like turns that light on in that dark room. Suddenly, with the light on, the monsters just don't look so scary. When you can look at it, when you can see the games that are being played, when you can identify them, it's like it's easier to just refuse to play them when you know what they're called, you know what they are, right? And every time you spot gaslighting or projection or blanket statements or diversion or minimalization, you're taking back a piece of your own power. And it's about saying, I see what you're doing and I choose not to participate. And in the face of manipulation, it's like your clarity, your resilience, your refusal to, just diminish your own strengths. These aren't just tactics to navigate toxic relationships. They become like stepping stones to just a healthier, more empowered you, right? And you're not just surviving the storm. You're gonna learn to just dance in the rain, because you're learning a chance to just transform, challenges into opportunity for growth and strength and self-discovery. So yeah, I know I don't do lives very often, but I do hope that you enjoyed this one, and I hope to do another one again soon. My name is Miles. I'm a narcissism recovery coach, and yeah, I help people recover through the recovery process. And what I use with my clients is hypnotherapy, and it's just a way of just kind of calming the mind, calming the soul, uh, putting ourselves into just a deep state of relaxation, and help generate safety and work through problems as they kind of come up. So if you're interested in more information, you can find my more information on recovery.com, or just keep watching videos. Like, the information is helpful. This is more for the cognitive part of it, and cognitive recovery is really important. So it's just like I put it all out there. It's all out there. And then the emotional part of it is kind of where help and support really, really comes in. So again, thank you. You guys are awesome. Love you guys, and I'm gonna set something up soon, and try to do these lives more regularly. Thanks.